All right, so this is a little bit of a bonus episode. I'm pretty sure this is going to be pretty short, like some 10 to 15 minutes likely. But I went to the Montreal tournament on, well, this Sunday, aka yesterday for me right now. Uh, and I got rained on really hard. It was the third straight session I've been to. I tried to go to two days in 2024. And in 2025, I didn't go to the tournament, and then I went yesterday. And I hardly saw any tennis. In 2024, I didn't see a single point being played. I saw a little bit of a practice. I think Fritz and Hurkacz were on court, and they warmed up, and then it started raining, and then the session was canceled. And yeah, the time that I went, I got a ground pass, and we didn't even do anything because it was just raining the entire day. And then yesterday, we got to see a set and a half from Nuno Borges and uh, Alexander Kovacevic. And it was a really good match and whatever, but then it started raining and then the entire day got canceled essentially. I think they got to play a little bit after they played, I think Hejikata and Hami Munar finished their match. And then Nuno Borges was able to break and win the set against Kovacevic. But that was it. And there was no more tennis for the rest of the day. First off, I want to thank Tennis Canada for providing me some tickets for the 2025 event. I think I chose the Thursday, and it rained a lot on that day. Unfortunately, it was a sad reality for me in particularly. I think I could have grabbed a ticket for early, and it was pretty sunny, and then I chose the night, and then the night it was rained out, right? So I just got extremely unlucky, but obviously they gave me the ticket for free because I know the guys working at Tennis Canada, and they're all amazing people. I love them so much. Good luck at the tournament, you guys, this year. I hope it's going to be amazing. But also, I was really sad because, well, I didn't really watch much tennis at all. I hardly seen anything happening. I was really excited to try to get some pictures of a set winner. Well, I think I wasn't there or something happened. I don't exactly know what happened, but I don't think I was there maybe for the end of the tiebreak. No, exactly. Never mind. I was there. I did see the end of the tiebreak. I didn't get a nice picture because Kovacevic was kind of on the near side for me and, just didn't have a good angle, right? So whatever. That's on me. Fine. Doesn't matter. But I was just kind of really upset. And I was just thinking, well, it's just been raining so much lately, right? And there's the whole conversation about the Montreal tournament, which, by the way, I made an entire video where I kind of touched a bit of the problem of the Montreal event, and I think a little bit of Toronto, but most so Montreal, about the site and the facilities being kind of old and aged, and they don't have a roof, and that used to be fine. But then, used to be fine is kind of a key element of my point here, because I was just thinking, well, my God, it's just raining so much, and obviously the refund situation at Tennis Canada, well, I guess like at the National Bank Open, well, there's no really a refund. You'd have to get credits before. If your session got canceled, I think at the very minimum in 2024, my session got canceled, and I got credits that I could use for the tournament the next year. This year, well, I'm not exactly sure if that works for all the sessions, but maybe for the first week of the tournament, if your session gets canceled for any reason, then you need to purchase another ticket for the same tournament, right? And that's kind of, that's pretty shitty. I'm sorry to say this. Like, it's pretty lame because, well, I've already spent that money. Now I'm going to have to spend more money. So I'm just, and I don't even have the option of just kind of like keeping it for the next year and just going in the same round. It's sad. It's lame. I don't like that policy. This is kind of my personal opinion. I'm also still pretty upset that I didn't get to watch any tennis, so that's not exactly on their fault. Nobody really controls Mother Nature. Point for a little bit later. But yeah, it maybe the second week because the tournament's going to end anyways, and if you, I don't know, maybe the semifinals ticket, you rained and then you kind of got like the refund of the credits for another credit. Maybe they can give you credit for, I don't know, the next year or so, right? I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. I'm probably not going to check, or maybe I'll check and I'll tweet about it or something. But yeah, this is something that kind of left me a little bit of a kind of a sour taste in my mouth. I was just kind of pretty upset about it. And also there were 90 minutes of tennis played, which also means that was my session. That was it. I didn't even see a match getting completed. Sure, I could have gone and watched Hijikata and Hamemunar, and then I would have watched the final match finish. But also, I kind of paid for center court, and the matches on center court didn't finish. So yeah, pretty sad. It's just it doesn't make me feel like I want to go back to the tournament until they at least have a roof. And I was thinking a little bit about it, especially today. I'm actually thinking of researching a little bit more about it, but I'm wondering, and I will need data for this, but that's one of the reasons why this is basically just a bonus episode, because I'm gonna need to research for data on this. I realize that it's not really that easy, especially to focus on Montreal. Maybe I'm just gonna have to open up my scope a little bit, instead of just tennis, but like more of like a climate change data, because well, climate change seems to be impacting it a lot, and my hypothesis, I guess it's probably a not very unpopular one, but it's definitely causing a lot more trouble in terms of rain delays. I'm definitely a hypothesis right now. I don't have any sort of data. I've been trying to track this, and it's more so articles about heat, and just kind of heat, impacting level of play. And there's a bunch from this year, especially after Roland Garros, where Yannick Sinner had trouble in the heat and just was forced to retire, and it was a shocking defeat. And obviously, this was going to make the news. But I'm wondering whether climate change has affected in terms of rain delays and just really rain in general, because I remember there always used to, I've been in Canada, by the way, since 2009. I moved in here when I was 16 years old, and I've been to several of those editions of the National Bank Open back when it used to be called Rogers Cup, and it always had at least one day or two maybe that it would rain. I don't remember how much of matches were going to be rescheduled or suspended, part of the research that I'm going to have to go into. But in my memory, which memory is never really a really great thing as data or evidence, but in my memory, especially from like 15, 16 years ago, that used to be pretty much a really sunny and really hot week. I even remember thinking that somehow the Tennis Canada organizers were always able to pick the hottest, sunniest week of the summer to have the tournament. Obviously, thinking about it now, I realize that when you're under the sun and you're sitting on the stadium, you're definitely going to feel the sun burning you a little bit more, and how hot it is, just because you kind of don't really have any means of protection against it. But still, it definitely felt like it was very sunny. So now it just kind of feels like it's always raining. Even a couple of years back, there was massive rain delays and massive issues with that forced, I believe it was probably 2023, where Ludmila Samsonova, she played, I don't know exactly who she played, maybe Elena Rybakina in the semifinals, and that match had to be completed on a Sunday, and then had to play the final and the semifinals in the same day. And the final against Jessica Pegula was a disaster. It was just a really bad final. It was like a 6-love affair. It was really sad and terrible to see it and watch, because Samsonova had nothing to give. And it was the result of a lot of rain delays. That year was pretty bad about it. It was just so terrible. And a lot of people were just saying, like, get a retractable roof. But obviously, this is not an easy thing to do. However, even though it cost $25 million to put on a roof or something like that, is obviously something mad expensive. It's definitely in the millions, tens of millions of dollars. It seems like it's more and more going to be a necessity. And that's where my research, I think, that I'm going to be trying to make. And this video is kind of like my motivation to, so to speak, because if I put it out in the world, I'm going to make a research. It's kind of feel a little bit more pressure on myself. I kind of have to do it now that I said I would. But it really is interesting to think, is rain delay something that is so prevalent now with maybe climate change, that having a roof is becoming less and less of just kind of like a nice to have, like a good show of money and prestige to your tournament, and more so like it is absolutely getting necessary to do it, because it's been raining today a lot on Monday as well. Like they didn't cancel matches, I believe, yet, but they had a really packed calendar, a really packed schedule for the. I believe they had like 27 matches to complete, and they only have 4 courts, which is insane to do all these matches. But then yesterday also it was raining a lot, so they just kind of maybe completed like 2-3 matches tops. So it's been really tough on Montreal, right? Um, and the 12-week Masters can only do you so much favors, right? Can only help you so much. Obviously, they were able to have like a lot of round ones today. Maybe they're still playing right now. As I'm seeing outside, it's sunny, and they obviously have lights on court, so they can go on pretty late as well. But it cannot do miracles. What if it continues raining a lot? Like the week is showing a lot of rain for the week. There's 1 or 2 days that are sunny when they're gonna have to try to play to schedule and just complete as many matches as possible. So that is obviously an advantage. That 12-day Masters, rather, it kind of helps them in that situation in that regards. But I'm wondering, like, if they don't add a roof soon, and they are in plans to do it. I've mentioned this in the other episode that Val, amazing, lovely tournament director of Montreal, she said she was in conversations with, I guess, partners in the city of Montreal. And she's obviously has received some pressure from the ATP as well, and the WTA to, improve the quality of the site, right, the facilities. But how much of a priority is this roof going to be, right? Is climate change something that is turning this into a necessity that if you don't add this like in the next, I don't know, 5 years, like how much of an impact is this going to have? And I'm thinking hypothetically, if the rain is just going to be getting worse, or these events of just a lot of rain just kind of canceling matches are just going to be happening frequently throughout the years, and just going to be more and more rain delays. You can even like kind of play against in terms of the 12-day Masters, because Washington just finished today on a Monday, because it was also raining in Washington, so they had to finish both finals on a Monday. Players that are going to be on that, players that were in that final are traveling to Toronto and Montreal to play their matches tomorrow. So there's a lot of traveling, a lot of like fatigue that they have to deal with, a lot of like adaptation, and it just kind of sucks for them. Just kind of have to do those turnarounds so quickly. But also it's going to pretty much overlap as well with Cincinnati, right? So how much rain delays is just going to affect it, and just some players are going to be like, well, screw it, I'm going to Cincinnati because I don't know, maybe they just decided, I don't know, something could happen along the way that just are not very happy about the situation that things are going. So if rain delays just keep getting worse and worse, and it's probably going to happen as well as Cincinnati now that I'm thinking about it. But all of this situation with the roof coming back, I'm really wondering like how much time they're going to have in order to get this together and get a plan, get the funding, and get this roof up on their heads. Because is this going to be continuously an issue that is going to be affecting play? Is this an issue that is going to continuously affect the attendance maybe at the tournaments? Like, now that I've bought a ticket months in advance to watch a tennis session, and for the third time in a row, it was raining like a ton, and I could hardly watch any matches. I'm not going to want to buy a ticket in advance. I'm just gonna wait until the very week of the tournament, and I'm gonna buy a ticket. And if the tickets are just kind of rising in pricing, and if they're just using dynamic pricing on, I don't know, Ticketmaster or so, if it's going to make it impossible for me to watch a tennis match because I just kind of decided I don't want to spend my money on it, because I don't know if this is going to even be worth my money at the time, because I'm not going to watch tennis, is the value of my tickets just it's going to be flushed down the toilet pretty much. If that roof doesn't come along, it's if climate change has anything to do with it, and there is a trend of more rain coming and more rainy days and more rain delays and more rescheduling, more match cancellations due to bad weather, I don't know if this could be definitely an issue for the future. And I definitely feel like I want to do some research and seeing how much of a priority having a roof is becoming in tennis today. And I'm talking about Montreal because obviously my experience is here. I never really had the chance to go anywhere else in the world to watch tennis. But yeah, climate change is obviously a world situation that I'm definitely looking into, seeing if this is going to be impacting more, right? And obviously we've already seen heat waves and impact on players because of definitely just the heat. But if the rain delays are also a problem, that's going to be just recurring in the future, this is definitely going to be costly into the tennis world too. So hopefully I can find something, and maybe even if I'm able to find an expert, that would be really nice. In fact, if you know an expert, if you are an expert, I'll definitely be willing to talk to you, and seeing what kind of data you have and what kind of researches you have to share, because I'm definitely interested in seeing just how much of an impact this is going to have, especially in my city where I live, in the city that I love, with a tournament that I love, with people that put up this tournament year after year, people that I love and I really respect their work. I don't want this to be, getting rained on year after year, and their work getting more and more difficult with each passing year because of this, right? So, yeah, just that's it. That's my little bonus episode. It just kind of popped into my head that I just kind of wanted to talk about, and maybe kind of put this kind of reminder for myself to really kind of get to do that research if I can. So, yeah, guess I'll be in touch about this. So, I'll see y'all later. Bye.